Welcome everyone to the Bold Business Podcast with Rachel Starr. We have another episode of the Cosmic Kiki. I can't wait to get into it with our special guests. We have two very special guests in our virtual studio today, and we are going to be talking all about Cancer Midheaven as a leadership archetype. I can't wait to talk to our guests and to introduce them to you. This episode is going to be especially valuable and interesting to anyone who does have significant Cancer energy in their chart. Maybe you are a Cancer Midheaven or a Cancer MC yourself, or just anyone who's interested in learning more about using your astrology for your work, your career, your personal brand, for how you are of service to the world. I have a system of archetypes called my Cosmic Leadership Archetypes. For those of you who are new around here, these archetypes represent your fame point, the part of your chart that is the most public, the most forward-facing, the most on stage, and it's the part of your chart that people really see and that they really want to experience from you. Sometimes our midheaven is our blind spot, but because we don't necessarily see these natural gifts and traits that we already have. But by learning to work with your midheaven, learning to work with your midheaven archetype, you can truly bring forward your best version of your work, your best version of yourself to your work. So without much further ado, let's get into it. I can't wait to introduce you to our two guests. We have two guests that I've known for quite a long time. I was thinking about this. Nicole, you were there like at almost the very beginning of the constellation community, which is amazing. And then Rachel and I met through my very first business program that I ever enrolled in back when I started my business in 2020. So it's been a really long time. And so I love we're bringing the history and all of the ins and outs of what you guys have developed and how you have built and grown your businesses to this podcast. But before I start to ask you all the juicy questions, let me get into your bios so I can introduce you to the people. Okay, so Nicole. Nicole spent years in elite results-driven environments where achievement, output, and identity were fused until the version of success she built stopped feeling true. And she went looking for who she actually was beneath the roles and expectations. Today, through transit theory, she helps leaders, professionals, and creatives navigate transition, power, and identity through a grounded, practical synthesis of human design, astrology, and somatic and ancient techniques centered on self-trust, clarity, and living in alignment with your actual design, not the one that you were taught to perform. Yes. Oh, I love that so much. And one of the other things that I'm really excited about with this conversation is that you both have in common is that you're both manifestors in human design. Yes. So, okay. So I know it's such a great connection. So let me introduce Rachel to the people as well. So Rachel is a nurse known as a breath of fresh air on the unit, as I would expect of a manifestor, right? Definitely breath of fresh air. Ever the optimist, she believes in the future of nursing and supporting nurses to thrive on and off the unit. Her 16-year career has focused on oncology and hospice, a sector that breeds emotional resilience and discovering the true meaning of life. It was here that she was first introduced to personal development, which flourished into helping people beyond the bedside to create a life that invigorates them and also feels like peace. The ocean, live music, family, and fancy teacups fill her cup, and she thrives in community, leading fellow nurses to achieve the happiness in every aspect of life. Wait, let's see that teacup again. Let me see.
Yeah, it's actually got mushrooms on it, but still, got it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
I love it.
Oh my God, I love it. I love mushrooms so much. Oh, so great. Okay. So welcome. I can't wait to get into this with you both. I think it's great that we're going to get your real life perspectives on what it's like living and working and being someone who has this incredible Cancerian magnetism, right? The Cancer Midheaven, but also who is a manifestor and has this like real dynamic aspect of their aura, right? Before I get into asking you questions, I want to introduce a little bit about the Cancer Midheaven. So the Cancer Midheaven in my system of archetypes is called the Gatherer. And the Gatherer, I called it this because it's really Cancer energy at its highest expression, as it's at its most kind of forward leadership focus. So it's someone who brings people together. We often think of Cancer energy as nourishing, family oriented, all about home. But when it's in the midheaven position, when it's about work and, being at work out in the world, it's taking those principles of nourishment, home, and belonging, and being the person who creates that, being the person who leads in that space. I would say that, Cancer midheavens, as the gatherers, are very, very good at being intuitive, being protective, and also being very emotionally connected. There's all the water signs have this, but Cancer has this really beautiful gift of connecting to people on a heart level, not just on an information level or a data level or a mind level or a logic level, but on a heart level. So when you see those Cancerian leaders in action, it's people just want to be on that team. They want to be part of that community because they know it's going to be an inclusive, protected, safe space. So we're going to probably, I assume, talk a lot about community today, what that means to you. Do you see these aspects in yourself? So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so my first question, let's start with Nicole. What is your big three in astrology and your human design? Give us a little insight into more about you.
Okay, so my big three: Libra rising, Sagittarius sun, and Pisces moon.
Beautiful.
And so I am a 2/4 emotional manifester.
Mhm.
And that's been so interesting, especially with the Pisces moon, being an emotional manifester, because that Pisces moon is in 836. So I can
Oh,
go on quite a wild ride at times.
yeah.
Um,
I love a water moon, right? Deep,
oh,
deep feelers. Yes.
and it's in the sixth house, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So it must really come out around yeah. What I always think when I think of a water sign in the sixth house is you like a lot of, or you need a lot of flexibility and flow to your schedule. So being super overly structured can kind of cramp your creativity. Would you say that's
Oh, and
true?
yeah. But then guess what? I had a corporate career, so
Yeah. Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
trying to navigate that. So yeah, it was definitely a friction point after a while. My thing
Mhm.
was getting up early in the morning, though, I
Ah,
think, to kind of satisfy some of that Cancer moon. Like sometimes it's writing in a journal, sometimes it's pulling cards in the morning, to kind of
mhm.
give myself that flexibility before I had to go into a pretty inflexible environment.
That
So
makes a lot of sense. It's you find kind of ways to cope. I think we all kind of find ways to cope with that
right.
corporate structure if it's not exactly what we need. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Thank you. Rachel, what about you? What are your big three? And tell us a little bit about your human design.
Yes, my big three, I'm a Libra rising, Taurus sun, and Virgo moon, which is in the 12th house. So you shared
Ooh,
that.
yes.
Oh yeah, all the depth, all the yes. And then yes, as a manifester, I'm a 5/1 splenic manifester.
Mhm.
So when you said intuition, I've just, right, I feel like I'm just all of the intuition, little speak. Can't explain it, but I just know something.
Mhm.
And when I know it, like get out of my way.
Yeah.
And so much of
Oh
human
yeah.
design in you has just helped me understand that part of myself
I
and
love that.
accepting that of myself so much more of oh, I'm not difficult. I just know things. And
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. I feel like you speak to that thing that a lot of people, and I would say especially people with manifestor energy, so manifesting generators, manifestors, and also maybe Aquarius energy have is where people have expectations for us, and we are not here to meet them. We're not here to make you happy, do what you want to do, fit into the mold, follow the rules. There is kind of a rebelliousness to embracing fully your human design and your astrology, and realizing that you're not wrong about yourself. You are who you are. I love that. That's a wisdom we can all learn from you guys as well. So, what was your first reaction when you found out that Cancer is your magnetic leadership energy? Because you both have, very different charts. Like you have, I mean, aside from both being manifestors, like you said, Nicole, you have, did you say Sagittarius sun, right? And then, yeah, and Rachel has the Taurus sun, so very different signs, and then your moons are very different. Pisces versus Virgo, they're opposite. But your leadership energy is similar. So yeah, I would love to, anyone can go first. What was your first reaction? Were you like, yes, this makes sense? Or like, wait, what is this?
I mean, I can say
Go
it,
ahead.
it made sense, but I didn't have the confidence at the time for it to actually feel like tangible and something that I could be or achieve. It felt like, oh, this is how I want to be. Like, this sounds great. But I didn't feel comfortable in leadership and authority of being able to like lead as much with my nurturing side. Like,
Yeah.
it felt very conflicting too. Like, it made sense of like, I can see this, but how do I be both? It still felt like these are two things I have to merge rather than now really embracing this is just me. Like, it just works and I don't have to explain it. Um,
Yeah.
but very much being all about the feelings in it too. And like that part clicked right away.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was too much in the feelings to also be in the leadership role that could bring people together.
Ah,
Um, so that was big for me of it helped me start turning the wheels more of how could this all work together. Um, but also I needed to self grow the confidence of, I really am this natural leader that people are drawn to, and I don't have to do very much. I literally can just be me and it works. Great. But that took a while to, yeah, just feel confident in it, to feel natural and like that was okay.
yeah.
That's a gift and not just something I felt like I was trying to do rather than just let it naturally come through me.
I love that. What would you say are those, you mentioned like these two sides, like, oh, I could be that too. So if one side is the nurturing, intuitive, heart connected leader, what was the other side of you that you felt like, oh no, I should lead with this side?
It was more like that confident boss, like almost misunderstanding it of like I thought of leader as you have to take charge and you have to really lead instead of what I have found more through this is like how can I just show up as me and that naturally brings out the best in others.
Ah, kind
Where
of
I
like a
thought it was more
pushing.
like my right, because I can be aggressive. I can be maybe when I'm not in my best authority, when I'm not my
Assertive.
best
Yes, yes.
assertive. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be very assertive and that 5-1 of like, no, I do know better. Like
Yes.
come
Yeah.
this way and you'll be fine. So kind of I think that's the balance of they were very two opposite spectrums for me before I really understood them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so interesting. This is why I love working with the astrology because there's brings like a complexity and a nuance to understanding ourselves because we're not just one thing. Like you do have a very assertive, boss side, like traditional boss style side of you, but then you also have this heart-centered, nurturing, intuitive side as well. And so it's like we don't have to pick one thing. Like we get to be all of ourselves, but a certain piece is going to come out more in different areas of our life, or be more useful or be more magnetic in different areas of our life. I love that you spoke to that. What about you, Nicole? What was your first reaction to hearing about Cancer as leadership energy for you?
Um, well, I think just to speak to what Rachel is saying, how it can feel very different. I mean, I think I look at Cancer very differently,
Okay, yeah.
because I feel like I was definitely expressing that, or didn't know I was a leadership, but was constantly bringing things together, organizing, making sure people met each other or talked in, like knowing who to put together
Yeah.
and knowing kind of like what kind of outcome is going to come. And just to, as a 2-4, like really experiencing burnout from that because not letting go enough, not understanding that leadership too is about not putting everything together, but creating a space and saying, hey, can you do this, or can you do that? Or and so like being more assertive, or in that, like, I'm creating the space for us, this is how you can contribute, I'd love to invite you to do this. um and I just think about it because Cancer, right? Cancer Midheaven is very interesting to me because I think about where it sits, and it sits in Capricorn's house, like
Yes, the opposite
so it's
sign.
kind of like, you know, the mother in the father's seat, so
Uh-huh.
the mother having that kind of control over the family dynamic, the resources, the what are we putting together or whatever.
Yeah.
And, Cancer, I think it all often gets forgotten a lot, like with Libra too, is
Yeah.
that these are cardinal signs,
Yes.
they
Yes.
are the take charge kind of signs. They're not, I mean, Cancer has this reputation, it is very nurturing or whatever, but it's with purpose and with wanting to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And when
I
you
think
have
people
a
forget
Cancer
that.
midheaven,
Yeah.
everything in all of your angular houses is cardinal, so it's just
Yep.
like, let's go, we're going to do this. And so I think stepping into leadership with that kind of balance, like, yes, it is kind of, it's this nurturing energy or whatever, but it is also directed, has a point, wants to express something, wants to get things going.
Yes.
And, it can be nurturing, but, there's also dark sides of Cancer. And, and sometimes it is overgiving, but sometimes it could be, like the harsh mother or the mother, like there's just different aspects of nurturing, or,
Yeah.
the mother figure that we see Cancer as. So it's been interesting to like try to balance, or realizing that it wasn't my overgiving. And it also had to be sort of some of that like assertive, if you want to call Capricorn sort of daddy energy or whatever, because it's the mother and the father seat at the highest part of your chart. So
Oh, I love this so much. And yeah, we could get into all of the interesting conversations about, how we see mother and father like relationships and power dynamics. But I want to talk about like something that I think people often forget about, the crab, the Cancerian side, is how fiercely protective it is. Like, they say there's, no mother's love, like no love like a mother's love, right? Like if you, I remember growing up, like I used to, I raised a lot of animals. Did like 4-H and stuff. And I raised, cows, chickens, rabbits, dogs, cats. Had a guide dog for a while. And it was always kind of a known thing that like the female of the species was going to be like fight to protect, right? Was going to be
mhm.
the assertive one, was going to be the one that's like, yeah, like don't mess with my people. Like
Mhm.
don't mess with my people. And so but for some reason, patriarchy, we kind of lost that as part of the mother archetype, I think. And so you're
Mhm.
right, like working with leadership and Cancerian energy, I think is a beautiful way of like coming back and bringing back like, oh, there's a fire here, there's a fierceness. Does either of you want to comment on that? I'm curious, like, do you find that you are that person in the office or that person in the team that is gonna really step up to protect people? I think I already know the answer, but yeah, say more.
Well, there's
Yeah,
always a snap, right? Like, you're laid back, things are cool, you're talking things out, and then it's just kind of like, absolutely not, you know?
Yeah.
And then and considering stuff too, when I think about Cancer, thinking about the crab, how you see those videos where it has like the pincers out and it's
Yes.
like
Yeah, yeah.
chasing something down, or it's moving really fast. And
Run.
there's definitely that, it's like the child or any kind of energy or something that's like poking you, you poke your mom, hey
Yeah.
mom, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, and mom is chill. And then it's
Right.
like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like that. The snap.
The
The snap
snap.
of the claws, the snap of the patience. Like,
Like,
yeah.
okay.
Don't mess with my baby as well. What do you
Mhm.
think about that, Rachel?
Well, I think there's actually this freedom when you're saying that because for me in nursing, most of us are female.
Yeah.
So working in an environment where, you don't have as much of that patriarchal structure, at least day to day,
Mm.
I actually think it was easier for me to lead with that little more like, no, this is where we're going. Like I loved being charge nurse. Put me in charge. And yes, let me be the orchestra director of this is where you need to be, and this is what you need to do. And yes, I will hop in and help you. Like,
Yeah.
and you could be bold and assertive without it being bossy or bitchy
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. Unless, yeah, there's always the caveats. But hearing you say that just clicked of like, oh, I actually had a lot of freedom to express that in
Yeah. Which
certain
is
roles.
amazing.
There was a lot of freedom. Yeah, which is great. And then you still get to be the like hand-holding nurturer. Like, we're gonna make you feel better. We're gonna absolutely handle your symptoms, but like, let's have fun and what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's like creating the safe space. I think that's such an amazing hallmark of a Cancerian midheaven leader for sure. So can you see, so you've kind of already answered this, but can you see the gatherer archetype in yourself, or have you had other people comment on some of these aspects and kind of say, you're really good at this, that, and that, and now you see it as part of Cancer? Is it something you see in yourself, or is it something that really other people kind of saw in you first?
I
I
think in
see it. I can
terms of,
answer. Oh, go ahead. Go
oh,
ahead.
no, go. I was gonna say I'm surprised too, I guess because with the manifestor energy, and sometimes it is kind of like it's interesting when you watch people approach you
Ooh,
and they
yes.
want to ask you for something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like they stay far away. Like someone will come and they'll be 6 feet away from me and just ask me something
Oh,
or
interesting.
whatever, like kind of the distance. And it's just like, yeah, you can come closer, and I might have, some RBF in there because there is this kind of like, like what, I feel
Yeah.
you
What do
standing
you
there in
want?
my aura. What is it that you want? Like, are you going to say it? And they're probably like, trying to figure out what they want to say or how they want to approach, or is
Yeah.
this a good time? But I can feel that. So it's just like, what do you want?
That's so interesting. So you think
To
people
think
are a
you were
bit
so
tentative,
mean.
like tentative
Yeah,
about,
people have been tentative, but then at the same time, they'll turn around and they'll be like, what I really remember about you, or, you really cared about me, or you were so nurturing, or, I didn't think of something like that until you took me aside and said XYZ, or people asking questions and, sharing just some real talk, like how you should approach this, or what you should ask for, with negotiations. I was always like hearing people, and it's just like, no, this is the time you should ask for 5,000, $10,000 more, or whatever.
yes.
So
Yeah.
not
That's a form
thinking
of
about that, because
protectiveness
it's
as
just kind
well.
of like, yeah, not thinking about it, but then having so many people make that comment, to nurturing, to care, to like you cared.
I love that. Yeah, and sometimes I think, even if people can't necessarily articulate what it is about you that drew them to you, like after they've spent some time in your presence, they can put it into words. And that's kind of what you're saying is like people may feel drawn to you, they don't know why, maybe a little intimidated, right? What you're saying, they saw the shell of the crab, the claws, and then they
Right.
realized you're on their side, and you do have that, you know, the nurturing protective side of you that they really appreciate, and then they can vocalize that. I think is such a gift too, to be able to hear that, because sometimes we really do struggle to see ourselves clearly, right? I think most people out there struggle to see ourselves clearly. Like we see ourselves in reflection, from others a lot of the time. What do you think, Rachel? Did you see this in yourself, or was it more kind of brought to your attention by others?
Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I'm the initiator, and I think you know this. I'm the initiator. If
Yeah.
I want to be your friend, you don't have a choice. Like we are friends.
That sounds
I love
familiar.
it.
Like there's no other extra decision. Um, but in thinking of other people, I mean, God, there's so many things I could say to that. But something someone said to me once that stuck out was with the emotional depth
Yeah.
was if you have a problem with Rachel, you really have a problem with yourself.
Ah,
Like there's,
Ooh.
yeah, I'm like, I love that. Like, she's
yeah.
like, you have to look really deep inside your soul if there's something you don't like about Rachel,
Yes.
because she's always on your team. She genuinely cares. She will stick her neck out for you. Like,
Mhm.
she wants to know who you are.
Yes.
And that really touched me. So I do kind of touching on what Nicole said about almost like leading other people to who they are.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
That's, I think, a secret gift too of within that leadership and within that nurturing. It's no, I genuinely care because I want the best for you. And
Yeah.
so how do we do that together?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't have this on my list to talk about as an aspect of Cancer, but you both have individually brought this up that you have a sixth sense and an intuition for knowing what other people need or what they're good at. And I do think that that kind of this is like what HR is supposed to be. Like, like often in corporate, HR is not like this, but it's like this understanding of the organization and the person's place within the organization. And also just on a heart level, on an emotional level, what people need. And I think that that is a beautiful gift that Cancer has. And both of you guys have that too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So what about before we get, I want to talk more about the manifestor side, but before we get into that, I want to ask you about Cancer Midheaven blind spots. So one of the blind spots that I would say I see often, and you may differ on this, but so I'm curious to hear your thoughts, is getting overly invested and involved with other people, at work, and then maybe holding on too long to relationships at work or things that didn't work out. How do you see that kind of, ever happening in a job that you've had? I know this also relates to, I think all the water signs have this, like Pisces and Scorpio as well, because they're so heart connected, right? Because you're so heart connected to other people, you feel, there's an empathic side as well, like you feel what they feel. Have you found that sometimes it's hard to have that boundary and like be like, okay, that's their problem. I don't have to fix it. What are your thoughts, Nicole? Do you want to go first?
That's something I've definitely worked on.
Mm,
Just, just like, first of all, I think really burning out from
uh,
being what people needed or organizing things where like that nurturing, gathering social aspect of it.
mhm.
And then coming out of that. And I think it's just like a real balance in terms of, when you've already given whether advice or nurturing or comfort or help of some sort, to not to continue to think of it, to say this is theirs now.
Yeah.
I have said what I have to say because it's natural, like
Yeah.
I have a fluency for people, like you said, just like realizing what they need, what they might be good at or whatever. So when things are popping up, I'm constantly, it's like even clients I've had, like I will remember someone's chart,
Yeah.
like I remember
Same.
details about friends or whomever. It's just like, oh, I think they have XYZ. This moon is going to be really important for them or whatever. And it's like, stop.
I don't need to keep all this in my head. Yeah.
Right.
No, I love that. That makes a lot of sense. It's like, because oftentimes the blind spots of the archetypes are just the gift reversed or the gift, like too much of the gift. It's because the gift
Amplified. Right.
amplified. Yeah. Like the gift is really understanding people, or one of the gifts is like really understanding people, really connecting to them on a deeper level. And then the blind spot is connecting too much and needing to
Right. Like, yeah.
separate. Yeah.
Letting them go, letting them figure it out on their own, or come back when they need instead of just, which is interesting as a manifester, because I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes I can be allergic to hand holding, but at the
Hmm,
same
hmm.
time,
Yes.
I'm always thinking about people.
Exactly.
Like, but actually, do you know that?
It's such an interesting dichotomy. Well, yeah. Well, I have so many manifestor questions to ask you guys as well. But Rachel, what about you? Like, do you see, have you experienced any of this kind of like you get too
Oh yeah.
involved in someone's, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and bedside and business. So, I mean, bedside, I had a hospice job where I would go into the homes and people would have my
Yes.
personal number. And it was, I had to have the boundary of if it's after hours, you have to call the office, right?
Yes.
And if there's just a special person that you want to be available for 24/7, you make those exceptions,
Yeah.
but to the detriment of yourself and just the emotional burnout of being a nurse from not meeting people where they are. That was a lesson I had to learn professionally and personally of I can't expect this person to do any differently
Yeah.
until they know differently, and I have to meet them where they are, even if I disagree with the choice that they're making. That was a big struggle of burnout, and that I think a lot of nurses struggle with is just, no, again, that 5-1, like we know better. We know if you do this, you might not have the best outcome. And how can I educate and how can I make you see this way? And if they're not going to, it's not their time to make that decision for whatever reason. Just emotionally, that was a huge part of burnout. Just that over caring, like just
Yeah.
the over, like, what else can I do because I care so much and I want the best for you? And I don't think maybe that crowd, like, I don't think you're making the best decision for you. So how can I keep giving?
Yeah.
So you'll change your mind. That I definitely saw. And then in business, when I first started in business, I did coaching one-on-one, and I would take almost like emotional responsibility for my clients, where if they had a good result, then great, I'm doing good. But if they were struggling or they didn't, they weren't figuring things out as fast as I wanted to, I hung on to it like a personal responsibility more than what can I do differently to help them get there. But I saw it as I'm doing something wrong. What else can I do to make up for where they are? Instead of, again, just meeting them where they are, which I've learned so much as the Cancer Midheaven of just meet people where they are and they're going to flourish. Like, I think that's part of the community building for me is, hey, I've got these tools. Let's come together where you are and support you where you are so you can just keep getting better.
Yes.
I think that's been a big distinction for me of having to step back and take care of myself in that leadership role as a Cancer of I can care. And Nicole, you kind of said this, like, I don't want to hold your hand. To me, it's like, I want to love you and come in and I'm going to like make sure we get there, but I can't physically like walk you there. Like you have to walk yourself.
Yeah.
And that distinction too, with the mother energy of it, of like, I love you and I'm here, but you might fall. And that's part of it. And that's okay. That permission has been a huge part of burning out and really the overgiving. Yeah. Like, I'm
Yeah.
here to support you, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
do this for you.
And you may fall, and I may not be there to pick you up, like you saying, you not being able to answer those calls after a certain time. Like you might have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. And, we'll talk about it when I talk to you later on. I mean, I really had to put boundaries. And I don't say I have boundaries now because that, it's like, oh, you've got to enforce these things. But I definitely struggled with one-to-one work before I learned to like, okay, I'm going to come to this session. I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to use my knowledge. I'm going to see what's going on right now. But also, after the session's over, we're not going to think about this anymore. Like we're not going to live and die on what is going on with their life. Did they really get it? I don't know if she got it. Like I don't know if
Yes.
they got it. Did I needed to have explained it differently. So you kind of have to trust yourself and just like, okay, I'm here with the care, with the nurturing. This is what I feel. This is a conversation we're having. But you also have to let people be responsible for what it is that they're going to take away from it and what they want to do with it. And until I got to that point, like sessions were just draining me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot of,
I get it.
yeah, exactly.
I've
That's a
been there.
lot
I
of
get it.
wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom for anyone who has like really strong Yeah, Cancerian energy, water energy is like you're not necessarily helping someone by trying to do it for them, right? It's like you can care, but the way you care matters, and the way you provide that care and support needs to be supportive of you as well as the person's like future journey for sure. I love it. So let's change gears a little bit and talk about this manifestor side of you. And we've kind of sprinkled it through, but it's really fascinating to me. Almost all the manifestors that I've ever done sessions with, worked with one-to-one, etc., have a Cancer midheaven. I don't know if that's some kind of crazy coincidence. I don't know what it is, but I think it's a fascinating combination. So I want to ask you guys about this because typically, you know, when you learn about just being a manifestor, you're not talking about profile lines or, you know, solar plexus or anything else. When you're just learning about me being a manifestor, it is often described in human design as more of a, you know, alone kind of position. It's much more of a, oh, I'm the leader, I'm the point person, I'm the person who is going first, and then other people are going to jump on the train or not. You know, it's the spark that lights the revolution. It's someone who's very much takes the initiative regardless of what other people say and doesn't need to ask for permission. So it's much more, you know, people talk about this archetype of like the kings and queens, right, of old. They didn't need to ask for permission or the council, right? It's like, I have an idea, I'm just going to go do it. And so then when you, it's partly true, right? I think of manifestor energy, there's this really great ability that manifestors have to have a vision and take it forward. And that vision is going to be disruptive. You know, there is a disruptor edge to being a manifestor, which I love. And I think it's very magnetic, right? It's part of your aura. But at the same time, then you bring in this Cancer midheaven, and then there's like, oh, but I want my people, my community, my family to be around me as well as we go on this disruptive journey. And so it's just such an interesting combination. Do you sometimes have this like push and pull of these seemingly opposite sides of you in your work? Do you see any of that? Or yeah, just speak to like anything about being a manifestor that you really enjoy or really find challenging. And either
Can I say that I really enjoy that things just come easy?
Yeah. Wait, say more about that. Okay.
Well, I someone said that to me recently. We were talking about human design. She's like, I'm just so jealous. Like, you don't have to work hard at this. It just comes to you. And I need that reminder. I need the permission. It honestly is like a permission slip that I give to myself of this gets to be fun and this gets to be easy as a manifester. And I don't feel this now. I will say, and I think you might be able to witness this. I don't feel the tension now because I see my vision. And you, Rachel, for so long were like, well, what are you disrupting? Like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm disrupting people's lives. I'm disrupting their patterns. And you're like, no, it's bigger. And it just, the trying to figure it out, I would say, was the whatever, the clash. And when I stopped trying to figure it out and I was like, I'm stepping back. Like, I just need to be in my life. It just came together. Wow. I'm like, oh, I'm disrupting the whole healthcare industry. Like, I am disrupting this real big. And to me, it's so natural. Like, yes, I want my people around me. To me, it's a no-brainer. And to me, it goes so beautifully together. I will say, personally, it can feel more challenging.
Interesting.
Because I think, personally, for friendships, you really have to know me.
Yeah.
And I think as much as I'm an open book, I'm a very private person. And so I think the part that clashes the most is, I felt really misunderstood for a while, not understanding all the different layers of how can I be this nurturing person that's like, yes, I'm going to be your best friend, but then feeling the rejection of not being understood. Not to go too deep in that, but business wise, no, I think they blend so beautifully together of I can't do this without my people. It's not even a thing of, oh, I'm a leader. And I think for the Cancer midheaven, it's the biggest gift with the manifestor energy of like, we're going to go in this direction. If you feel this way too about how you feel as a nurse, I've got you. Like, just come in and I've got you and we're doing this together. And then you tell another person and they change their life. And I can only disrupt something with my people.
Yeah.
So to me, the manifestor and the Cancer, it's like to a beautiful chef's kiss.
Yeah. You describe that so well. So well. I love that. You're right. It's like we're going to go disrupt this. We're going to lead the revolution, but you're a revolutionary with me. And your people are going to be so into that. They're going to be like, yes, finally, this is the change we've been asking for. And this person is going to go do it. So we're with them. Right. Yeah. Cause I do think there's a lot of like fear sometimes for manifestors that they're going to go somewhere and no one's going to come with them, right? That they're going to disrupt, they're going to break the rule, they're going to do the thing, they have a vision, but it's like a lonely journey. And I think what you're articulating is it doesn't have to be. Yeah. If you're finding your people.
Mhm.
How would you speak to that, Nicole?
I would agree. I mean, I
Yeah.
think because there are so few manifestors, and I feel like there's so few manifestors teaching human design or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have very like the cues that we get and the words that are said, I don't even feel like they're accurate. I feel like they put a lot of
Ah,
pressure
okay.
on manifestors. Not that the
Say
words
more.
are wrong, but the
Mhm.
experience of what that looks like, I think can make it a little bit more complicated. Like when Rachel is talking about, yes, it does get to be easy, but it's just like, oh, you're going to repel people. You have to initiate, you have to be first. And I feel like sometimes initiating is not even about, like, I think we're so focused on being productive and outward action that you
Mm.
forget that manifestors are initiated by the universe. Like, so it's an idea
Ooh.
that you commit to, it's a decision that you make. And then you move forward with that, and you inform. Does that mean you tell the whole world? No. You tell like who you want to bring along with you or who it might affect, or, you know,
Mhm.
it's like you strategically inform the
Do you think
people
there's
who need to know.
like a grandness or like a bigness to the way people often talk about manifestor initiation that feels too pressured? Like it's like, oh my God, you have to change the whole world rather than just
Yeah,
like, well,
because
what's your
I don't
lane?
feel like it's like that because we don't know what changes the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Manifestors don't know, like you want to know your impact, but at the same time, sometimes that's not yours to know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could get up and say, clean my room or something. Like, so get up, we're roommates. I get up, I'm on like a spree. I clean the entire apartment. I put out some new art. I found some bowls that we didn't have out before, and then you could come in and it inspires you to sit down and write your novel. Like you just, I just feel like the initiations sometimes it's just like, oh my God, you're going to change the world. And maybe you will, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that was it. Maybe you just change someone's world by doing that. And I'm not backing away from the grand visions because I definitely have them,
Mm-hmm.
but just not all initiations are that. Some
Yeah.
initiations are, I'm going to get out of the bed today and take out my guitar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask someone if they want to collaborate on a song with me. Like, I'm just saying that there can be beauty in the smaller things, and the
Mm-hmm.
smaller things create the bigger things. And that's a lot of what I talk about in working with people, because I think we jump to the biggest thing and we jump to we've got to do everything. But the thing is, most of us can't even make a decision. Most of us can't even say what it is that we want. Because when I used to think about what it was that I wanted to do and that I judged myself so harshly for, it was like, I really don't want to do anything. I kind of want to travel, visit nice places,
Mm-hmm.
eat good food, and I want to have inspiring conversations with people. And that's kind of what I do. Like I travel, I have
Yeah.
one-to-one sessions with people. We talk, we have inspiring conversations or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I can provide tips like that. I would have thought, oh, that sounds so lazy, or that's not, I mean, what do you mean? You want to like chat with people about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like your big vision might be sitting there and you're saying it doesn't fit the generator vision, or it doesn't fit the projector vision, or someone who even has a different profile. Like, what comes through for me is going to be very different than Rachel, and I feel like we are constantly trying to like advise people from ourselves, as opposed to
Mm,
saying, actually, this is just how energy works. And this
yes.
is how I think about energy. And this is how you can think about something in your life. And this is
Mhm.
like the one small change that you can
Yeah.
start making.
Oh, I
Because
love
I
how
think
you,
all of us are just like bombarded with the big dream. And it's just like, yeah, but the big dream has little steps. Like if the big dream is making you go like this because it's so big and so heavy
Mhm.
that you can't even, like decide what it is or get out of bed in the morning, then that's not helpful.
Mm. I think you really speak to like the difference between like the generalizations, that we get in human design and astrology, and then really diving into the specifics. And then from there, working on with your own authenticity about how that's going to play out. Because I do hear a big difference between how you describe vision and disruption from how Rachel describes it. And I'm not surprised, because partially because you're a 2-4 and she's a 5-1,
Right.
right? So fifth, for anyone who's new to human design, fifth lines typically see things more in like kind of globalization terms, like industry terms, like we're going to change the big picture for more people. And then 2-4s, especially the fourth line, really like to focus on like the depth of a smaller group. And like what are the pieces, and especially second lines, I'm also a second line, it's the individual's experience becomes the
Mhm.
priority. And so there's, I think having both of you on the podcast is a stroke of genius, if I do say so myself, because we're seeing the similarities, but we're also seeing some differences in how you express your manifestorness, how you express your Cancer Midheaven, how you express your, the beauty of your charts and your leadership. Oh, I love
But
it.
our
Can I ask?
profiles are
Yeah.
so compatible though too, because
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
five and the two are both projections, projected lines. So it's always people like looking and telling you things about how you should do things or whatever. And I'm just like,
Yes.
no, but
Yes.
I don't want to in that way. And then
Yeah.
the first line and the fourth line are the foundation builder. So, there's that
Yes.
kind of like protectiveness, like I need to, and the manifestor aura, like I need to do my own thing. I need to figure this out. Like,
Hmm.
which has been interesting in terms of me making a move, because the
Oh,
fourth line is
yes.
not does not like, or the first line, like we don't like uncertainty, not knowing things. It's like,
Yes.
I need to know before I know, or I need to
Yes.
know certain things before I can sort of start feeling comfortable.
Yes. Well, that was going to be my follow-up question to you, is around disruption. So, disruption for you, like Rachel spoke a little bit to disruption around the work, the environment, the industry, but disruption for you, just thinking about recently, right, with your move, you've moved countries, right? And, for you, it may be more on the personal side. Like, I just want to know more about how do you see disruption? Do you see yourself as a disruptor? And how do you see disruption as a tool, if so, in your work?
I mean, I think manifestors, no matter where they are
Yeah.
in their life, and if they're healthy manifestor or not healthy manifestor, it's the nature of the aura to be disruptive. I mean, I
Mm.
feel like I've always been in companies and all of a sudden they like go out of business, or
Ah, yes.
or
Yes.
relationships break up, or just things are always constantly happening to people around me that I'm not necessarily like, oh my God, I caused that, or it's because they were sitting next to me or anything like that. But it was just like, wow, it just seems like lots seems to happen to me and the people
It's just
around
happening.
me or whatever. And but I think even my move for people, is disruptive in terms of me not being where I was before.
Hmm.
And what was interesting about that is, when we think about people pleasing and trying to explain the vision,
Hmm.
and with manifestors, it's just kind of like you have to go first or whatever.
Mm.
And that's true, but it was more like I'm telling my friends and family about this. Oh, you should come, you should relocate to, and just kind of like wanting to have company or
Oh.
wanting a little bit of permission. Like, this is okay
Mm.
for me to do, right?
Yeah.
And then when I finally was just kind of like, well, I'm moving, I've got my ticket, I'm leaving in a month. And I was getting so much pushback. Well,
Oh,
I don't really want to
wow.
go. And maybe that's your thing and da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that, all of a sudden, oh, I was watching YouTube videos about that. Oh, I think I want to, I'm going to come visit you. Just like people
Mhm.
I could not drag with me, that when I stopped trying to elicit something from them and was just
Yeah.
like, I booked the ticket, I'm going.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
then they just all changed and got on board. So just reminds me of Rachel saying, yes, things can be easy. Just make the decision.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's really, I had just have to highlight the inspiringness of the inspiration of that as a concept. I hope everyone listening, really feels inspired by that, to think about that for their own life, whether you're a manifestor or not. Your life is your life, right? It's your decisions, it's your direction. And a lot of times, people that you love, people who you think have your best interests at heart, people who've known you for a long time, they're gonna say no. Initially, they're gonna be like, no, 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 that's a terrible idea. But it's your experience, and sometimes they come around, sometimes they don't. But what matters is like being that captain of your own ship. I remember when I moved, because I'm an expat as well, when I moved from California to London, I didn't really tell many people, but I knew since the very beginning of when I came to study abroad in 2005 that I wanted to live here. And I bought my plane ticket before I had a place at a university to do my master's, before I had the visa. I just knew, right? And I'm a manifesting generator, so I have that 10% manifestor. But I just knew. I was like, you know what? This is what's right for me. Other people think I'm crazy, but you just have to go with it and you figure it out on the way. And I think that may not be everyone's exact process, but I think there's some real nuggets of positive, ability to change and ability to disrupt that is coming from that manifestor spirit. So thank you for sharing that. And best of luck settling in to your new place. This is very cool. I want to hear more.
My fourth line is like,
Yeah. I am going to I know, I am planning on doing another group podcast where we're going to talk about astrocartography and like how you feel in different
oh,
places. So I'll be inviting you back for that.
I've been obsessed. I've like looked at so many different things. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of my specialty, like looking into that. Like, I concentrate a lot on environment and location because I feel like they do give people
Yeah.
a boost that we don't talk about,
Yeah.
that it makes it a lot easier for us to make some changes. And environment also means like the people, the things that you're listening to, as well as, your actual physical location. So
Totally.
this has been research into that, firsthand.
Yeah, you're
I'm in
living
the
it.
lab.
You're living it. Yeah, you're in the laboratory. This is the second line. You're in your process. Like, oh my God, I love it so much. Okay, so there's so many things I want to ask you guys, but I want kind of my somewhat final question. And if there's anything else you want to share that we haven't talked about yet, please bring it up. But I want to ask you, thinking about the future, the coming year ahead. Right now we're recording this right as we're about to go into Cancer season. This summer, a lot of astrologers are talking about is going to be such an amazing summer for expansion. It's like got a lot of, Jupiter's moving into Leo, this expansion energy, the nodes are shifting. There's a lot, that I think people are going to be talking about purpose and where are we going and the direction. 2027 from human design, and astrology is a big year. So when we look to the year ahead, is there a way that you would like to lean into your Cancer midheaven or yourself as a manifestor? So the gatherer side of you and that disruption initiator side of you more in the coming year. I'd love to hear your thoughts on like what you want to lean into, grow into, do more of, and it might inspire other people as well. Anyone who'd like to go first?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead, Rachel.
I definitely the gatherer. I just want to build my community.
Yeah.
I want 1,000 nurses in my like nursing club.
Yeah.
I want this book. It's done. I'm waiting on literally the
Is
publishing
it? Oh
side
my
to
God,
go.
you are writing
Oh,
the
it's
book.
done. It's
The book.
formatted. It's
Yes.
gonna be out in 2 to 3 weeks. Like maybe when this airs, it's gonna be
Oh,
gold.
Oh my God.
I'm
Okay. Yeah.
yes, yes. So
Give
I
us
want
the
this. I
link. We
want
will put it in.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. But I want my people. Like, I am just so heart-led hungry for my people to be like, you, I want these tools in your hands.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
the world is changing. This is the time. Take care of yourself. Like, create those boundaries,
Hmm.
feel better, enjoy your life more, all the things. But I want my community. Yes, I want to step into that gatherer role. I want to be on stages. I want to speak. I want to travel. Like, I want to be the voice. I want to be the leader that
Hmm.
says, come on, there can be a different way.
Hmm.
You're safe. I've got you.
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to be miserable in your jobs and
Yeah.
your life. Um, I really want to step into that, and
Oh.
the ease and the trust and the joy of showing leadership from that role too,
Hmm.
to inspire more leaders within the profession. Like,
Yes.
game
You
on,
are
right?
doing
Like,
it. You're doing it
I
already. You're already
thank
there.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm. I love it. And do you want to say a little bit more about the book? Like, who's it for? Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So nurses, bedside nurses, nurse practitioners, like if you have ever been an RN, this is for you. Um, it's called Still Standing, and it is emotional resilience tools to thrive and not just survive bedside. So if you are a nurse building a business, if you know a nurse and love a nurse, like please tell them, share this book with them. It'll be available through Amazon. And I have the Wise Well Nurse Club, which is completely free on Substack. That's where I want to grow. I want people on the Substack. I want people, it's the best way to get to know me and my community. Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's amazing. It's a little guidebook to keep in your pocket. So before, during, after your shift, you have real tools to take care of yourself and simple. Just keeping it simple because nurses don't have the capacity,
No, no.
time, energy, emotional capacity.
Yeah.
So simple.
Awesome. It much needed, right? Much needed. I love
Thank
that.
you.
And
Thank you.
Nicole, what about you thinking about the year ahead? How do you want to work with this energy maybe more or lean into it? How are you inspired?
Um, it's so interesting because same as Rachel, but she's like worldwide. And I'm like, I want to meet people as I build my life,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
plant
yeah,
little
yeah.
seeds here and there. So I am such a 2/4 and like really embracing that fourth line being, not the person, I'm the person who inspires the Rachels or, who taps other people on the shoulder. That's like my place,
Mm,
building the smaller network, the more immediate one-to-one thing. And,
mhm.
similarly, I've been working on a lot of tools that are going to be coming out in terms of little adjustments that you can make for yourself, like I think people get such big results. You're expecting to have to do so much, and you
Yeah.
really don't. Like
Mhm.
a lot of times, too, especially, as a manifester, when something isn't moving in my life,
Mm,
it's because I haven't made a decision. It's because I'm in my head about, what it looks like for other people, what it might say, how it will work, da da da. But when I get clear and I say, well, I want X, Y, and Z, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how that works out, but that's what I want. It
mhm.
usually comes very quickly. Like I've gotten jobs like that I didn't even have to interview for. Like I've just was like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to do a resume. I don't want to interview. I want someone to just like come along and hire me.
Yeah.
And 6 weeks later, it's just like, hey, can you help us with this? You were recommended by, someone that I wasn't even that close to.
Mhm. Love it. Yes, the
And so
fourth
just
line at
having
work.
having things happen, like moving here and not thinking about anything. And
Mm.
then Rachel, you're like, do you want to do this podcast? Well,
Yes,
actually,
actually, yes.
yes, I do.
Yes. Yes, and like you said, but
So
it's
I
those
think
small
leaning
shifts.
into that,
Hmm.
yeah, the small
Yeah.
shifts, like, um, and just and learning to trust that, really learning to trust your design. Rachel, I'm so inspired because you're like you're the 5/1, the one who has investigated, who has figured it out, who has done the research, and is like, I'm gonna shout this from the rooftops. I want everyone to have it. And it's like that's such a perfect expression of a 5/1,
Hmm.
like
Thank
in
you. That's awesome.
alignment. And just,
Thank you for
and just
witnessing that.
saying it. So
I love it. Oh, I love it. You both have really beautiful, you know, ways forward, right? And it's your own way and it's your own path. and at the same time bringing in the best of your gifts, the best of your intuitiveness, the best of your ability to gather people together in different ways, but that energy is so similar. And I think it's really beautiful to witness. So thank you for sharing. Tell us how people can connect to you. I know you mentioned a couple of things, but tell us how people can connect to you. Do you have anything coming up that you want to share with us? Rachel, do you want to go first?
Well, definitely the Substack. And I have a free 7-day nervous system reset that as soon as you subscribe, it's completely free to subscribe to the Substack. There's lots of tools already in there. You get a free 7-day nervous system reset that takes 5 minutes or less for all those 7 days. It's a great introduction to my world. And then really the book. So Substack at The Wise Well Nurse, Instagram at The Wise Well Nurse, best places to find me. Say hello. I love meeting you and knowing who you are and how you found me. So please don't be shy.
Yes, perfect. Gathering your online community. So perfect. And Nicole, how can people get in touch with you or work with you?
So my website, transittheory.com. And, when you sign up, it takes you through my thinking right now on human design and how to approach the different types, being your different profile. You just sign up, you put your information in, and like, I think it's every 2 or 3 days, you get a new piece of yourself to consider.
Oh, nice.
I'm also, I think on there, you can find like any one-to-one work that I'm doing. I have this thing that I'm really excited about. I call it HD Love Notes because
Ooh.
it's not a big reading at once. My thing now is like not to overwhelm people, but it's like an 8-week program. I look at your chart, I tell you something, I'll send you a little voice note every week with just a riff on something that I'm seeing in your chart for
Yeah.
you to, and what you can do with that. So I think that's a nice way to get, to know yourself and to start putting things into action and start tweaking small things as opposed to one big, I'm going to tell you all of this stuff and you're not going to remember any of it.
Bite size, right? I really
Right.
think
So it's like bite
size
size.
solutions are one of an amazing way forward because you're right. Like we don't have necessarily the attention span. We're busy. Everyone's a bit overwhelmed, world events. And so having something like that, I think sounds so supportive to people. Like, I love that. You're the oracle, of human design in their pocket. So good. Wonderful. Well, you guys will get all of the links down below. So make sure, whatever platform you're listening to this or watching this on, you can connect with Rachel and Nicole there and become part of their communities. Thank you both so much. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I love the nuance in the conversation. I love the connections that you guys made. I love how different and yet how similar so many of your gifts are. And thank you for living, authentically and being yourselves and trusting yourselves through this process of becoming the leaders that you are. It's truly like so inspiring to me. And thank you for coming and sharing it with our Bold Business Podcast people.
Thank you.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, this was so much fun. So much fun. All right. Well, everyone, stay tuned on the Bold Business Podcast if you want to learn more about your archetype, whether you are the gatherer or maybe one of the other 11 archetypes. You can grab my free ebook on that. The link will be there as well. There's lots of ways to learn more and start working with your astrology. Start to lean into these aspects of yourself that may have been questioned, ignored, misjudged, misunderstood in the past. Now it's time to boldly be yourself in your life and in your work. All right, thank you so much. We'll catch us on our next episode. Make sure you subscribe, like, all the things you need to do, and talk to you later.